Alrighty, great stuff. Hi everyone, welcome to session 2 of the QGIS Open Day. Thank you all for joining us. I can already see that there are a whole bunch of viewers waiting for the stream. So welcome, you don't have to wait anymore. And I would like to welcome Edward to our channel. He's going to be taking us through some really great products and showing us, demoing for us from Digital Africa. And I will hand over to him because he's got an introduction and some slides prepared. Do bear with us with internet and power and those sorts of issues. And over to you, Edward.
Thank you, Amy, for having me on this day. Hello, everyone. My name is Edward Boamah, just as Amy said, and I'm from Digital Africa. I work as the technical manager. And as part of today's program, I'll be taking you through the process of how you can actually access our datasets using the QGIS platform. But before that, I have some slides that I just want to give you a brief description of what Digital Africa is actually all about. So I want to share my screen. Okay,
Brilliant.
please can you see my screen now? Thank you, Emma. So, what actually is Digital Africa?
Hang on a second, Edward. We can't hear you anymore.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, there we go. You're back.
Okay. Okay. I think okay. So let me just do it this way. So what actually is Digital Africa? So Digital Africa actually provides a platform and services which provides free and open and accessible analysis ready satellite data for everybody to use. So the focus is actually on the African continent. So having this data, our users across the African country can actually track changes across the continent in an unprecedented details. And this will provide valuable insights, far better decision making across many areas within the continent. And those areas include land degradation, coastal erosion, urbanization, water resource and flood risks, and also agriculture and food security. So these images, satellite images that Digital Africa actually produce will actually help us to make decisions and help us within our decision making within the African continent. So the data that we provide is going to be a routine data set and it's going to be reliable for everybody to have access to it throughout the continent. So what are some of the data sets that Digital Africa actually have? Currently, as I speak, Digital Africa have access to the Landsat collection family. That's we have images of Landsat 5, Landsat 7, and Landsat 8 up to now. And we also have images on Sentinel datasets. All these images that we have is actually completely free. Even if you are going to use it for a commercial purposes, you can use our datasets, which is actually free. And it's even optimized for web processing. So depending on the platform that you are using, you can actually get access to this data from wherever you are. The platform can actually be used as a standalone. As part of today's presentation, I'll present to use it with other systems such as QGIS that we have here. So the data set is not actually built within a particular environment that anytime you have to visit that environment. But even if you have your own products, you can actually get access to those data sets. So aside the data sets that we have, there are also products that we are developing for using the data sets that is within the platform. So some of the products that we have within the platform is the water observation from space, which is actually built on top of Landsat, and it's from 1980 up to now. We also have the crop mass, which is actually ongoing. We have it for the Eastern, the Southern, the Northern, and the Western Africa. Very soon, the Sahel and the Central Africa will also have theirs. And aside that, we also have the Sentinel-2 and the Landsat Annual Geomap, which is actually a cloud-free composite images. So these are also products that are actually available on the platform for everybody to have access to. And during the presentation or the demonstration using the QGIS, you will get a chance to see all these data sets that we have. How do I actually get access to these data sets? One of the ways that we have platform that through the platform you can actually get access to the data sets. But one of the ways that you can actually also do it is using APIs, that's the web mapping services. So the Digital Earth Africa actually have the web mapping services. That's the OWS, the Digital Earth.Africa. Once you have access to this API that you just pasted here, you'll be able to connect to the data sets from any platform that you have to be able to use it. So as part of the presentation, you just delve into it and go straight into the QGIS on how you can actually use the platform to do this. So not wasting much time, I'm going to end the slide here. Then I would open the QGIS environment.
Ah, this is our favorite.
Yeah. So yeah, please. Okay. Can you see the QGIS section?
Yes, yes, I can see.
Okay, thank you, Amy. So this is actually the QGIS platform that I'm using. I'm using the 3.16 version, I think the handover. And from here, we'll be able to add some data sets actually using the Digital Africa APIs. So to do that, the first thing I have to do, I want to add a vector layer for some of the areas that I'll be working with. So I'll go to the add layer section, then I'll go to the add a vector layer. Within the add a vector layer, I'll actually have it already here. I just wanted to add a shapefile of Africa to the system. Okay, so this is a very pretty nice image of the shapefile of the whole African continent. Let me change the styling so that beneath it, you'll be able to see what is there. So instead of making it solid, I'll go for no brush. Then let's increase the border lines of those areas. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, we see our perfect African map here. So right now that we have our data sets ready, the next access is how to pull in the Digital Earth Africa products onto the platform. So I'll still go to the layer section, then I'll go to the add layer. Then within the add layer, the one that we're going to deal with will be the WMS and the WMTS layer. Okay, so I've already preloaded them here, but let's do this one quickly. Okay, that's interesting. Let me go to the add layer again, then WMSTS. Okay. Ooh, oh, okay. Okay, so what I'll do here is I'll create a new connection. So by clicking on the new connection, then within the new connection, I'll provide a name. The name here that I'm going to provide will actually help you to identify the URLs or the various regions that you've actually connected it to the system. So I'll use the name the Africa, then I add QGIS connection. Then at the URL section, I actually paste the, sorry, let me type the OWS dot Digital Earth dot Africa. So after typing it here, you don't actually need any authentication. So the configuration here, you just choose the no authentication area. The basic also, you just leave it as default, as you will see. Leave everything here as default. Then after that, you just click on the OK. So once you click on the OK, you realize that the name that I created has actually joined the names you have here at this top section. So what I'll do, I already have another one called the Africa, but I'm going to use this QGIS connection. Then after that, you click on the connect. Oh, talking about protocol. Let me go and get the URL. Okay, so I have to add the HTTP. So let me copy this one and let's move to our new connection. Then let's paste it over here. So HTTPS, needed the HTTPS for that particular connection, and I click on OK. So from there, then I will click on connect. It will actually take some time depending on your internet connection. If the internet connection is very fast, it will actually load quickly. But sometimes when it becomes very slow, it's actually going to take some time to load. So whilst it's loading, if you check below here, you actually notice the number of layers that was actually being loaded onto the system. So what you see here are the products and the data sets that are available within the digital Earth platform. So the first layer you see here is the General Digital Earth Africa OGC Web Services. And beneath here, the satellite images are actually grouped into thematic names. So you have the satellite images here. So if you click on the satellite images, you're going to get another group. So you have the surface reflectance, the surface temperature, you also have the radar backscatter. Once you drop that one also, you notice that within the surface reflectance, we have the daily surface reflectance. We have the annual surface reflectance. Then we also have the semi-annual reflectance. The daily surface reflectance are the normal satellite images, that's the Landsat and the Sentinel. So within the Landsat, let me escape. So if I draw within the Landsat, you notice that we have the Landsat 5, 7, and 8 within the platform. And you also have the Sentinel 2 under the daily surface reflectance. If you drop down on the annual surface reflectance, you are going to see the GeoMAD for Sentinel-2, GeoMAD for the the GeoMAD Landsat 8, and the GeoMAD for Landsat 5 and Landsat 7. So once you drop down, you continue to have the various layers for this area. So once I continue to click on that, I realize that under the GeoMAD for Sentinel-2, we have the GeoMedian, we have the red, green, and the blue band combined to get a composite image. We also have the composite for the first color, which is the shortwave infrared and the near infrared. So at this point, I'm going to choose one, and we are going to see how it's going to display on the map section for us. So you pick the GeoMedian, shortwave infrared, and the near infrared layer. You can actually pick those GeoMedian and shortwave infrared, those two images. You can pick them. So you first add one layer. So by clicking on it, the rest of it you can actually change. You can actually leave it by the default one. And you can also bring the WMS legend if you want to see it also within the map. The layer name is how do you actually want to see it at the layer sections within the QGIS. We will leave here also as a default one, then you click on add. Once you click on add, then it will load on the map interface for us. Let me make this one big. So on the far, as you can see the layers, so right now the GeoMedian shortwave infrared layer has actually also been added onto the map for us, and it's now loading. So as you can see, let's bring the, so as you can see, you can actually see the boundaries of the whole Africa nicely overlaid on the GeoMedian image that we are having currently. Here, you can actually zoom in to see a particular area of interest that will actually be nice for you. So it's all still come down to the image and the internet services that you are provide. But once they load, you'll be able to have access to the images, and it actually loads very fast also. My internet is not very fast this afternoon at my end, but as you can see, the images are being able to load behind the scenes very quickly for us to see what is actually loading. The timer that you see here on the layer actually lets you know that the image is not just one image, but it's a series of images. we chose the annual geomedian, so for Sentinel-2. So when you right click, sorry, when you right click and you go to the properties, and you click on the information, you'll be able to see all the metadata for this particular image that we've actually loaded on the platform. So you see the coordinate system available, the extents, and also the units. If you come to the properties, it will give you a general information on the Sentinel-2 geoma that we've actually uploaded onto the platform. And looking at the extent, you notice that it's from 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. So this one actually also gives you an idea for you to know how the images actually really works, and to also get the metadata of the information that we are having currently. If you come to the temporal extent, we can actually specify the areas that we are interested to work with.
Hi, Edward. Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes, please.
Awesome. So we have a couple of questions that have come up. I just let them grow a little bit so that we have a few. So the first question is from Anita, and she asks, how often are the layers like land cover updated?
Okay, so we have various products and they are updated as we receive the images from USGS and also ESA. So for the satellite imagery, for the Sentinel image, within this week we have the current version available. And once these images are there, the system automatically do the computation. So if, for instance, if it's for the geomedian, once the year ends, we are going to do the computation will run for it. So you are going to get it yearly. If it is for the semi-annual, that's the 6 months. Once the 6-month period ends, the image will be composited for you to actually get it. So as the data comes in, the system automatically runs up for you to get the current version of it.
Awesome. Then also the other question, which I know we were talking about before we started the stream, but Hans asks, are the layers also available through WCS for calculations?
Yes, so they are also available. So after the MWS, we are going to go to the WCS also side.
Awesome. So we'll get there.
Yeah.
There's just a comment that it's nice that it provides time series data. And George says hi from Cyprus. Hi, George. Alrighty, we can continue.
Okay, thank you, Amy. So as you can see, we've added this the shortwave near infrared. I want us to also add another layer from the geomap. Okay, so we added the infrared. So let's add a simple RGB for that particular area. Then you click on add. So once we click on the add, it will take some time, but it will actually load it quickly. From here, aside this, okay, so because it's loading, that's why I can't actually scroll, but it will just load it very quickly. So once it's loaded, we can actually move on to the next section. Perfect. So on the like you just notice that the RGB has also been added onto the layer set for us. And you can actually use the time slider also to change these two images that we have on the platform. So you can see we also have the annual geomedian for the whole of the continent. The next layer that I would like us to add, so because you are done with it, you can actually collapse it, all of it here. Then you move on to the next one, which is the surface water. So Digital Africa provides the water observation from space product, which actually help us to determine the frequency of water from the Earth observation data that we have. So within this one, I'm going to open the all-time summary. And the all-time summary actually starts from 1980 up to date. So all-time summary water that has actually been observed for the whole of the African continent. We also have the annual water observation, but I want us to work with the all-time summary. So once I click on it, then I click on the add layer. So once I click on the add, you notice that one layer is selected, so the image will be loading up. Then you will give it some time for it to load up. So having all these data sets will actually makes it very easier for you to access it. And if you have any other maps that you want to use these layers as a base map, you can actually use them, and it's freely available and you can use it anywhere without any charge. So right now I'm loading the water observation from space, the all-time summary. And as you can see, the loading is still loading. So you've gotten just a small portion. It will load for us to see it for the whole of the African continent. And we can also zoom in to the area of interest that you will actually have it on the platform. So whilst it's loading, let's go back to the layers. So aside the water observation from space, that's the surface water, we also have the agriculture section, and that's where we have the cropland extent map. The cropland extent map actually helps us to identify areas where there are crops, So it doesn't actually go into details on the type of crops, but with this map, you actually be able to know areas where you are going to get. You're going to actually know areas where you are going to get crops within the agriculture section. Under the elevation, we also have different images. We have the SRTM data. You also have the NASA DEM, that's the 30-meter, and you also have the Copernicus digital elevation model. Then under vegetation, we have the fractional cover, and we also have the global mangrove watch data sets also available on the platform. Under the land use land cover, we have the ESA land cover and the Esri also land use land cover available for everyone to also have access to. Then under the meteorology, we have the rainfall, the monthly rainfall data from the chiefs data sets, and it also starts from 1981 up to date. So as soon as the month ends and the new data set is available, automatically the system will be updated and it will additionally add onto the platform for us. So let's zoom to layer for the water observation from space. See, let me remove one here so that we can actually appreciate the two colors, and we can zoom into a particular region. Yeah, let's zoom into this area. So once we zoom in, I'm trying to load the two data sets all together as one, and it actually takes time. Please bear with me with the internet, but it will actually load up, and you can also try it at your end. So within the WMS layer, WMS region, you actually have access to all these data sets at your end, and you can actually access it and use it within the work that you are doing. Aside the WMS feature, Digital Light Africa also provides the WCS features also for you to be able to use, so that you can actually make an additional computation on the areas that you are going to have. So whilst the area of interest for this particular area is still loading, we can go to the WCS feature and learn about how we can actually connect the WCS feature also. So by the time you'll be done, I think these images will be. Oh, sorry, request today. Okay, let's close this.
It's coming.
Yes, it's coming.
That looks really cool.
Let me turn this one up. Yeah, I think it's coming. So let's try and zoom in more to a particular area to be able to reduce the resolution so that you can actually get the extent of the images. So whilst it's still loading, we can go and check um, the WCS feature, and I think by the time we'll be back, the image will be loaded for us. Okay, so with the WCS feature also, to be able to get access to those data, you create your new connection, then you provide the name. So the Africa connection QGIS. And we will still use the same URL we use for the OWS. Sorry, we use for the MWS that we did. You don't have to provide any authentication. You don't actually have to provide any username or password. Just leave as it is. Just provide the URL, then click on OK. So right now that we have our connection here, the next thing is to click on connect. So once you click on the connect, it will be loading the list of images within the GIS files. Okay, so as you can see, all the available data sets in the WCS format is actually listed here. Unlike the previous WMS, whereby you were able to drop down, with the OWS, you are not able to drop down. All the images are, and also all the images comes out and arranged in the thematic area. So if you look at the title, we have all the information here, and you have the the abstract information on them also here, and the name of the codes, the name of the name given to the data sets. So you have the surface reflectance for Landsat 2, sorry, for Sentinel-2. Then you also have it for Landsat 8, 7, and 5. We also have all the geomag. We have the surface temperature. We have the Sentinel-1 backscatter data also available in the WCX format. We also have the water observation from space, the cropland, all the images that you saw. We also have the WCS version, which is actually, once you load it up, you actually saw it here. So let's upload one of them. Let me, sorry for the internet, but let me zoom out to Africa. Then let me actually upload one of the WCS. Okay, so I'll go for the monthly rainfall. That's the CHIPS data rainfall set. And one good thing about the WCS is actually let you specify the image that you want. So from the image that I realized that it starts from 1981. That's the time zone for the rainfall chips. So you can scroll up, you want the current one. So the current image that you have within the platform was captured in October 2021. So once November ends, we are going to have the rainfall data for November. Then the format that you actually want it. Do you want it in GeoTIFF or the net CDF? You pick that one on and the preferred network. Let me go for preferred network. Then let me click on the add. So once I click on the add, we will come to the QGIS, and hopefully the internet won't disappoint us, but it will load. I tried it this morning, it worked perfectly. I know it will also come up again. Perfect. So the rainfall chips data set has been put there. So right now we are waiting for it. So as you can see, this is the layer which has come, and it's because it's a precipitation data set. So because it has shown here, right now it's for it to display on the map for us. So as you see, these services actually will make it easier for any of us who actually use QGIS to play around with the data sets. So whether you are doing a work in relation to water, or you are doing a work in relation to land use cover, or you are even doing a work in relation to deforestation or land degradation, You can actually get access to Digital Earth Africa datasets, which is available for free, and all the corrections and everything has been, the level 1 correction has been done for you. You can get access to all those datasets and you'll be able to use it. So right now that we have our datasets shown here, one of the things that I like about the WCS is you can actually style it depending on how you want it to look like. So let's go for a single band pseudocode. Yeah. So you go for a single band pseudocode and you pick the, so the mode here that I choose is continuous. Then I click on apply. Then you will see that you'll be able to change the uh, the style of the map to actually look on the way that you actually prefer. Unlike the WMS, which actually comes in the form of an already PNG, but with the WCS, you can actually do a lot of additional work that you want to do. And it's also because it also comes as a GeoTIFF or an SCDF, you can actually do an additional processing on top of it. So that's one thing I actually also like about the GeoTIFF. The mode, one can go for the preferred cache. Okay, so let's wait for it whilst it's displaying. You can go for a preferred cache, but if there's a changes in it, normally you won't actually know it. But that's why I normally go for the preferred network. That will give me the latest image that is actually available for us. So whilst we wait for it to display, we also have a lot of data sets within that I've actually gone through all together that you can also go through it and actually use it our end. We'll be happy for you to provide us feedback. If you need any information or you need any support, you can reach out to us on helpdesk at digitalearthafrica.org. So helpdesk at digitalearthafrica.org. Once you encounter any challenge and you send your request through that, the team is there to support you and to also to make sure that you'll be able to get our, you'll be able to support you on it. Voila, as you can see, we are able to change the style for us to actually see the presentation for the whole of the African continent.
Wow,
can
you can
put
really
a
see that
Ghana map on
equatorial
top.
band. Very cool.
Yeah, yeah. Let me change the border color to white. So are you able to see? Uh-oh. Let's see. Okay, I think it's now back. Okay, let me just move it here. Once it comes back, then you bring it onto it. Because I cannot close it as okay. So I wanted to change the boundary colors for the African region to white, so you actually appreciate the color behind it. So just as you see, you can actually see. So this is actually for the month of October 2021. That's the monthly rainfall for that particular region. Let's add this one, which will actually load very fast. Oh, okay. Now that the right now is the border has actually taken effect. But let me see. Okay, so I think my machine has started freezing again. I don't know why. And I click anything. I think something is cashing out for the something is cashing out. So we can wait while the layer is cashed out for us to have access to it. But meanwhile, I'll be happy to have any questions on what I've presented so far.
Thanks so much, Edward. That's very, very cool. I love to, I mean, being South African and proud, I love seeing any kind of data or things that are built for the African continent that allow for free and easy and open source use. So it's absolutely fantastic to see this sort of thing happening, and I'm definitely going to be using this. I'm just having a look in the comments here. Just quite a lot of people just saying hi and a couple of likes. Just a geologist says very interesting. And John Doggerby says great tutorial, Edward. This has been really, really fantastic. Sorry, I'm breathing in some tea here. You caught me drinking a nice sip of tea. And then I just wanted to ask Victoria if you had any questions along the way. I know that you I've been working with this a little bit along the way.
Yes, we have worked with Edward a bit on using the DE Africa products. First of all, I'd like to say this is a great presentation, Edward, and it's very you actually mentioned an interesting case that I hadn't actually thought of before. You can use the Sentinel images available through DE Africa as base maps, which is very simple but hadn't yet crossed my mind. So I'm happy about that.
Thank you, Victoria.
Awesome stuff. You just gotta love having a little moment.
Okay.
Alrighty. So please, if you do have any questions for Edward while we just wait for QGIS to work itself out or perhaps restart, then we will continue with those. And if anyone in the comments can think of any cool use cases for this, please do share them with us. We're always interested to see what people come up with. I do see that Anita has said, do keep an eye out on what kind of projects people have already built with your data. And of course, that's very, very cool. Are you able to see what kind of projects, or do people have to share the projects that they make with you?
Yeah, so with the project, people have to share it with us. So
right.
Yeah. So we have partners across the continent.
All right. And is there a specific place that people can share projects with you? Are you on social media where people can hashtag you, perhaps?
Yes, so we are on social media. If you search for it, we are on Twitter and LinkedIn. Also, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. GMT, we host a weekly live session whereby people who actually we are building a community whereby people also comes and showcase some of the things they are using the products to do. Aside that, also you can also send, if you have a product that you want to work on and you also need support from us, you can also send us an email on the help desk at digitaletafrica.org. Then we'll be able to also reach out to you and we can work it together.
All right, great stuff. And for those Wednesday sessions, what channel are they on? Are they on a specific YouTube channel? Where are they streamed?
Okay, so we normally have a Zoom session. Let me share the Zoom link with you. So you have a Zoom session whereby people can actually use it to come. So I've seen the chat here. Let me open it here and let me.
Great, I can then share it on the live chat with everyone.
Yeah.
And we can all pop into them.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah.
Brilliant
so use
stuff.
this particular Zoom link every Wednesday at 11 a.m. GMT. And once you can come and meet most of African people from different countries there who actually share their experience, and we also do this demonstration on some of the new products or the new products that we are developing along the way. We also use that opportunity to showcase them also.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. And then, yeah, do you have any more to show us? Has your site
right now, I'm always I have to restart the QGIS because I'm only stuck with the reinforced chips. But I saw that there were a lot of images that I'll be happy if anyone who's watching us can just go there and just display some. You can actually take a screenshot and share it with us, or if you can tag us along the maybe at Twitter and LinkedIn. You can tag us there.
That would be absolutely brilliant. So if you are working with some of the data that Edward uses, definitely take a screenshot, post on Twitter, and tag Digital Earth Africa. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Because I mean, there's so many applications for me for this kind of data, especially in our part of the world. I think it's such a great initiative to have this going and be able to get this data on such a large scale for a whole continent. That really makes life a lot easier. And I think there are a lot of applications for this, for land use and farming and agriculture and food security, all these things that are really topical, especially in Africa and in the global south in general. I think this data is really going to help out, and being able to use your products is going to really push our agenda and be able to push us forward in terms of planning, in terms of security, and in terms of making the best of our resources. So I think it's a very, very cool thing, and I think there's such potential to be able to provide people with data, and they can then go forward and use their own expertise and show off things. As Victoria was saying, sometimes you don't think of how to use the data or how to do something until someone shows you exactly what's out there, and then suddenly you get sparked with an idea and think, oh wow, this is fantastic. So I think it really is very, very cool. And I was just having a look here. I think it's great that it's all sort of built in with QGIS, and you can take it from there. It means that your entire workflow is free and open source, which also makes it more available to everyone. Oh, Edward, you're muted.
Hello, sorry, Amy. Amy, please again. Hello, Amy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Was it a question?
No, I was just saying in general that it's pretty great. I just wanted to ask you, what was the sort of inspiration for putting this together? What was your organization's main goal?
Okay, so the main goal of the organization was to let people within the African continent actually have access to this Earth observation data, which can actually help us to monitor our natural resources. Because Africa countries, actually, we have a great of natural resources, and all these things that are available can actually boost our economy, even for the continent as a whole and individual countries. So if you have a way we can get access to these informations, and this information can actually help us to do this monitoring, to know what is actually happening generally, then it will be a great way to help the African continent. And also, we have the AU Agenda 2063. Earth observation data can actually be of help to us to do this monitoring and report on the progress. Even the climate change, the deforestation that's actually happening, the pollution of our water bodies. Earth observation data can actually help us to do all these things, this monitoring within the continent. So this is actually one of the visions, is to provide a reliable and a routine imagery for all the agencies within Africa to use it as a monitoring tool to actually help to make the citizens within this continent actually have access to them. And with this, if you notice that at a point one area is going wrong, the policymakers and the decision makers can actually immediately take action upon it, because right now they have evidence, they have the historical view of what is actually happening within our natural resources. So once they have those ones, it actually make us be able to safeguard our heritage. That means our natural resources that we have here, can safeguard them and it will actually be a great thing for us. So that's one of the main thing, that we are providing these images for free and for people to use it.
I think you've touched on a really important point then. I think it's that handover to decision and policy makers within the region. I think it's very important that this sort of data and these sort of things are known about, because there's often a disconnect between, us sitting behind the computer thinking that this is awesome and making these amazing products and generating maps, etc. And then there's a bit of a disconnect between that happening and the knowledge being passed on to decision makers and being able to, go forward and improve on a lot of these things. So I'm glad that you touched on that. And I think this really makes life so easy that anyone can really do it. There's no cost barriers. There's, not many technical barriers. All you need to do is, watch this tutorial and you can do it too. So I think that thanks for touching on that. That's a very, very interesting point. Alrighty, I'm just checking that if we have any other questions going in the chat. I don't see any for now. Have you been able to come up again, or we can always have... Oh, wait. I can put my camera on too. It's gotten very dark and stormy here, so I'm going to look very interesting with a very strange light. I do actually have my room light on, but that's how dark it's gotten. So I would like to really, thank you, Edward, for showing us that. And if in a future QGIS Open Day you want to come and show us more of the practicalities and being able to use your resources that are provided, I would absolutely love that. I think, anything that allows, Africa as a continent to progress and be in such an amazing place is always close to my heart. So thank you so much. Oh, hang on, you're on mute. There we go.
Thank you to Emi and Victoria for having us to talk about Digital Earth Africa on this day. We also really appreciate it. And thanks everyone who also listens to us.
Alrighty, I see in the comments that there are just a couple of comments, a lot of thumbs up, a couple of likes, and Just a Geologist says, thank you, Edward. John Duggaby says, very nice work. Hunt says, nice. So I think all of us really recognize that this is an awesome resource. So thank you so much for coming along and showing us, and hopefully we'll have you along again to show us any more cool things that you come up with. And hopefully, maybe in the future, I can organize us all to get together to use the data and have maybe a bit of an open session and see what kind of really cool maps, etc., that we can come up with. So thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Victoria. Okay, have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Alrighty, to our viewers, please make sure to tune in to our next session. That is again on the top of the hour, so please do tune in. There are a couple of minutes before it. And thank you all for watching this awesome session. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.